Okay, in this Photoshop tutorial, we're going to be talking about making a photo composite, working a scene. I call this making a scene. And here we've got this nice arches area, formations and pillars and buttes and nice photo here. So we're going to add images into this photograph using Photoshop. I've got two or three images here that we're going to be adding into this scene. And so to do that, we want to be able to clone in and clone out and cut and paste and be able to make what's called a photo composite, taking a lot of images and making it all one look like it's kind of real but sometimes surrealistic. So here I've got this image here, this Polaris Razor cruising through, and we're going to put that somewhere in our scene here, cruising down. So now there's lots of ways I can do this. I could take my clone stamp tool and with a smaller brush using my bracket keys, and I like to make a nice soft brush, so one of these that don't have a hard edge on it. And I could, option click here and let go, and that takes a picture of that area. And of course I can move that anywhere I want in that picture. But what's neat, you can jump this over to a different photo. So if I hold option and click, I can come over to this photo here and I can start pasting it into another image or cloning it in. But what's difficult is, some of the edges that I might not want, and I get some of the sky in the back of there, and it just kind of looks like I've just thrown a photo in there, so that's not going to quite work. So I just hit Command Z and go back in time there, and I'm just going to take my lasso tool. Now the lasso tool, when you cut, and we've got this feathering up here. Feathering is, if I leave it 0 and I cut out this image, kind of loosely here, if I cut it out, it's going to look like I just took some scissors and just cut it straight out, very hard cut. If I brought that over here, it's just a very hard cut around it. So I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to go back to this one. And instead of cutting it out with a hard cut, I'm going to hit Command D. Command D gets rid of the what I call the marching ants or the selection. Command D is deselect. I'm going to take my lasso tool, and I'm going to take about a 10 feather pixel here. So now I'm going to kind of grab loosely around this Polaris Razor, going down the dunes there. I'm going to get all the sand dust here too. I'm going to take my move tool now. Now when I cut, notice how it's got a soft edge. So we kind of left some of it there. When we bring it over, it's a lot softer, more natural looking. So I'm going to bring this larger here with my zoom tool. You can see that it's a lot softer there. So I've got a little bit less to cut and work on. Command 0 is to fit to screen. Move tool. Okay, so where do I want to put that? Well, first off, I want to flip this and going the other way down this, like there's a dune there. So I'm going to hit Command T, and that can transform it. Now, if I hold down Shift, it constrains it. If I don't, it's going to squish and squash. But if I hold down Shift, it constrains it. I'm going to make that like it's coming down that dunes here, and I can click on here and kind of roll it here. Now, if I want to flip it over, I can just right-click, flip horizontally, and it's going down the other way. Okay. The problem with that is if I've got any words in here that says Polaris, it's not going to say, and you can't. There's a lot of pixels and problems here, but notice how Polaris is actually backwards there, and so since it's so far away, you don't notice it. I'm going to leave it that way. Okay. So here I've got this, and it looks already okay, but I need to clean it up a little bit. Now the way to clean it up is you take the zoom tool, kind of zoom up a little bit, and I'm going to take my quick selection tool, and I can click and drag with a smaller brush here. I can click and drag, and it kind of finds areas. Now if I don't want some of those areas, I can go over it and get more area. Okay, I can hold down the option and go less. Let's see if I can do less here. No, I got too much of it there, and I really don't want to take all of that there. So the quick selection tool is going to select different areas, more or less, around what I want. Now because this is kind of pixelated, it's kind of difficult because I'm having a hard time getting what I want. So I'm going to use the magic wand, Command D. I think the magic wand is going to work better for this. So hold down the quick selection tool, go to the magic wand. Good. It kind of grabbed just the sand there, and hit delete. Delete. So it's finding opposite pixels, or pixels that are looking different than others. Now this gray area, it looks a little bit too much like the white. Sometimes it grabs too much. No, it didn't do too bad there. I'm going to take out the rest of this here. I don't want to take my sand out. I do want to take in between this windshield. Yeah, this is working quite well. So I'm just going to take out all the information because those pixels are so much different than the bars on there and the gray, you know, so I'm going to take out as much as I can. Now I want to leave some of this in here, okay? So Command D, get rid of any more marching ants there. I'm going to kind of zoom this back a little bit. Now if you hold down the Option key, you'll minus your zooming. If you let it up, it'll plus. Okay. You can also hold down Option and scroll with your keypad, and that will go bring things up bigger and smaller. All right. So I've got that kind of set, kind of way I want it. It's starting to look better, but I need this sand to look more pinkish. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to Image Adjustments. There's many adjustments here. I'm going to go to my color balance. Color balance, I can kind of play and add a little bit of red to this, so I kind of get that more there, and a little bit of yellow. So I can kind of make that sand look more like this red back here. All right. I can also select areas. Just if I want just the sand selected, I can just kind of go, I want just the sand selected. Okay. And then I can just work that image. So again, I can go to my color balance. Now, if you start learning the controls, you can hit Command B and it goes right to it. And I can even make that sand more red. Just the sand part. Or yellow and red, so it looks real. Command D gets rid of those marching ants. All right, then I'm going to take my eraser and start erasing. Now, if I erase, let me go back and do this again. On the eraser, if I erase it, 100% erasing. Okay, ooh, it's going away. Okay, Command Z, I'm going to go back and type. But if I turn down my eraser to a lower opacity, about 40% maybe, and then use my bracket keys to make a smaller brush, I can kind of blend the sand into the background. So it looks more natural. Kind of blend it in. So you can see some background. I can kind of blend it here. I'm just clicking and dragging and just kind of doing some blending so it kind of looks like it's real. So it's not so hard coming out off of there. Oh, it looks like I missed some of there. Magic wand. Gone. Okay, and then I can just kind of click there and get rid of some of these, you know, in the background that I didn't see. Command D. All right. So now it's looking more real. I can take again my eraser and do some more blending. So the blending is kind of up to you and make it look, you know, as real as you want. All right, so just get rid of any extra things. Now if you want to just turn that off and kind of see what it looks like without it and with it, you can turn this one off and see what you've done. This is the background. We're turning it off. We can kind of see that, you know, we can do a little more blending here. And you can definitely see where it's been blended, but you don't really see that when you turn on the whole scene. Okay, so great. Now I've got this, and I can make this as small as I want. I can move my Move tool, Command T, and I can make this smaller so it looks even more real. Like, you know, these two guys are cruising through the desert there. Command T, I can kind of roll that a little bit, click outside the box, and pretty awesome. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is add another image into this. So I've got an image here. I'll get rid of this one. I'm done with that one. I'm going to add the moon up here in the sky. So I can take my magic wand and notice how it pretty much selects everything. But see, there's a little bit of jagged edge here just because of the way it kind of fits in. I can hold down Command. Let's see if I can get some more of this. I'm going to hold down actually Shift. I can get a little bit more of the moon or a little bit less. No, I'm taking too much of it. So I'm going to actually not do that. I'm going to turn all this off. I'm going to go back in time. Command Option Z, Z, Z before I even start. Or Command D, I could have got rid of that. See, there's just that weird edge there. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag it over. It's going to be huge. Okay, this is a very high resolution image compared to my Monument Valley one there. But Command T and Command 0. If you hit Command 0, you fit the screen so you can see all your handlebars. I'm going to put this big, unrealistic but fun-looking moon here in the background. Okay, up in the sky, you got this jet going through it. We're going to put it up in there. And then I want to get rid of the black part. Again, I can use my magic wand, but remember how it kind of got some jagged edge? Well, let's just try it. Oh, that got me a lot further along than I need to, which is great. So I'm going to put that there. And I want to make it look more realistic. So I'm going to take my eraser, and I'm just going to kind of carefully go around the moon here, just softening at the edges. Now I need to do a lot more right here. Let me bring it up here a little bit more. Okay, see how it's jagged? So I need to clean that up. But I've got this monument here, so I've got to kind of clean this up a little bit. Smaller brush, and then start to make those pixels so they're not quite so perfect. They're not so jagged anyway. So it's definitely just a kind of an artistic thing. And I need to have that back behind this, so I'm just going to kind of erase that. Now if you want to see through the moon, I can just turn the opacity down to the layer, and then I can see where this monument kind of goes through here, this pillar peak thing here. And then there's one here, so I'm going to erase it. I got to do it a bunch of times because I got it 40%. Now if I want 100%, which is probably smart, I can erase this 100% quality at the same time. Still got a soft edge on my brush, but I can just kind of erase it. I've got a little bit over here on this cliff here. Okay, so you kind of do that just to kind of get it, you know, ready. And then bring up your opacity again. Okay, and then kind of go and do some erasing around the moon here. Now I'm at 100%, but I want to be that way because I really want to just clean this moon up on the sides. And I've got a soft edge brush, so it looks pretty realistic. Get rid of all those pixel edges, those artifacted pixel edges. Again, right here. It's kind of difficult because the moon's round, and so we're trying to, you know, stay around here. I'm just freehanding this, which is not too bad. If you do a little bit at a time, it looks pretty real. Now, it still looks, you know, in the daytime, a moon would not be this stark. At night, it would. So we're going to go in and we're going to turn the opacity down of the moon itself just a little bit. I'm just going to kind of clean this up. And if you lose some of the moon, it's okay. It's like giving it a haircut, right? Or right down here. Okay, and then I'm going to turn the opacity down of it. Just a little bit there. So if I show the whole scene again here, got this unrealistic but realistic work, you know, moon here, you know, and stuff. So making kind of surrealistic. I'm just going to kind of clean that up a little bit. And you know, the moon's got to be round, so you know, you got to be careful there. All right, so we kind of got this fun moon here in the background, and this bring in. Let's take that out now. I've got another one here. Yeah, I've got this climber guy, so I'm going to bring him over here. Let's move it on with the move tool. Okay, I'm going to have him coming off of one of these, you know, cliffs here. Okay, so I'm going to erase everything I don't want. So I'm just going to go. I'm just going to get rid of this. Just take the lasso tool, delete. Okay. Oh, I've got that pixel thing going here. Let's turn that back to 0 now. I want this to be a harder cut than that. Delete. Delete. And I'm going to use some of that cliff there. I'm going to make it bring in some cliff that wasn't ever there. Delete. Okay. And I got to get rid of this, you know, water or whatever it is back here in the background. Or no, it's not water, but it looks like it is. I'm going to make this, you know, kind of this cliff kind of hang back over. I need to lighten this cliff up here and delete this part here without getting rid of the little man here. So take my eraser and I can erase around this cliff here. So I'm just making this really fun scene. I'm going to use, you know, some of this cliff, but I got to get rid of everything but the little man here. And he's hanging off a rope there. We can always draw in a rope if we wanted to make it look realistic. So he's going to be hanging in the air, but sometimes you don't see the ropes. It's so far back on a picture like this. Now, the magic wand may do too much. We'll see. Delete. Command D. He's there. He's hanging off there. Okay. Now, again, we've got this part of this rock that's really not very natural looking. I got to lighten this up so I can take my dodge tool. I go to the dodge tool. I can start lightening this rock up. There's a lot of shadow detail there, and that guy needs a little bit of light on him too there. So let's just kind of bring him off the cliff here. And I can even hit Command T and kind of rotate this, and you know, okay. Or maybe I'll put it up the top of here. So he's hanging off there, and I could, you know, right-click on it and flip it so it's horizontal and have him coming off this side, which might be kind of fun, you know, and things. Not the best example, you know, but it's just all I could really find quickly. I'm going to get rid of this rock. I'm going to get rid of this. He's just hanging there. He could be coming off, you know, hanging off anything there. Not the best. He's just a rock climber off there. And I got this little bit here. So sometimes it's fun just to put little things that aren't noticed as much, you know. And if I want to put a little rope there, I can make a new layer in my layers palette, okay. And I can take my pencil tool, which is underneath my paintbrush, and with just like one, you know, I could make like a rope going down to him. Now it's a blue one. Why is it blue? Well, this is blue down here. So if I want to make it black, I hit Command Z to go back in time, and I can just reset it right here, or I can just click on it and put black, you know. And I could, you know, make this little rope off to him or something. And so he's swinging off there. You know, it's kind of silly looking, but you know, hey, these are serialistic anyway. So lots. I could add some more things like a tortoise, you know, in here, or a big huge one, or I could add something here in the foreground. I could add people standing up on the back. So lots of stuff. It's just making a composite scene. If I turn all this off, we've got our scene there. You know, add it back in. There's the rope. There's the guy swinging off of there. There's the moon. There's the four-wheeler cruising down. That looks probably most realistic, but pretty neat. And again, yeah, just a fun mock scene called a photo composite. Have fun.